Hi everyone, uh, I'm Gnan Kumar. I'm currently associated with APAC A&PS pre-sales. In this brief discussion, I'm going to talk about modern data protection with HPE and Cohesity solutions. And here is the key objectives. And the main objective is internal learning, technical differentiation, and how to convince customers and show and tell demo. Why HPE and Cohesity? Here is the brief introduction between the HPE and Cohesity, one simple, secure, and flexible data management platform, and built for seamless hybrid and multi-cloud to optimize investments and empowering your enterprise to do more with your data. And customer challenge, I'm going to talk about the most key challenge, which is data management. Data management is complex in both the primary storage infrastructure as well as secondary storage infrastructure. Let's talk about the production infrastructure. Production infrastructure means it's a latency sensitive and we have a multiple workloads, which includes we have a virtual workload, and we also have physical workloads, and we have databases and NAS storage, network attached storage. In this scenario, if you want to manage your latency sensitive and to store your backups and also your retention data, we require a non-latency sensitive, which means it's a secondary storage architecture. In this architecture, we have to use multiple tools to cover all our virtual, physical databases and NAS workloads. In this diagram, I'm trying to show you some examples. We have a multiple third-party tools, which includes Veeam, Commvault, and also we have to maintain our backup traditional infrastructure. We require a master servers, media servers, and also the tape library for archival storage purpose. In addition, we also require some target storages. That target storage, I took the example of Dell EMC and Veritas. And in addition, if you want to maintain your files and objects, also require some additional third-party tools. And similarly for test and development environment, and also to analyze all your analytics, also monitoring purpose, we require additional tools. This is the main complexity in our infrastructure. So even if you consider your other remote site, robo means remote office, branch office, and also your edge locations also, still we require a multiple vendor support to maintain our secondary storage infrastructure. And similarly, if you want to maintain a cloud infrastructure also, we require a cloud gateway. From the cloud gateway to maintain your cloud level backups, we use additional tools. One example is Cloudian. Okay, so that means the entire data is fragmented, inefficient, and dark data. Dark data means there will be no visibility, centralized visibility for all your secondary storage infrastructure. This is the main complexity, and most of the customers giving a challenge. This is the secondary storage challenge, and some scenarios it's applicable for production workloads as well. And now how we are going to address this solution? And all the silos infrastructure I highlighted in the color and orange color, the mass data fragmentation, siloed infrastructure, and siloed control, and the siloed intelligence. That means all are the separated infrastructure managements. There is no centralized console here. So the explosion of data has resulted in mass data fragmentation, the same diagram which we discussed now, and I just highlighted in the key items. Secondary storage, we have a master server, media servers. These all the media servers also require some additional storages to maintain all our backup data as well as archival data. And some scenarios, the most old previous retention data, we can also keep it in a tape library. This is also additional device. And we also may have a different type of workloads like test and development, files and objects, analytics, cloud gateway. But as per our survey results, 35%, more than a third of organization use 6 or more solutions for non-latency latency latencycy see sensitive workloads. And another is 63% of organization have between 4 to 15 copies of the same data, and 80%, 85% store data between 2 to 5 public clouds, and 87% non-latency sensitive secondary data is fragmented, and it will become nearly impossible to manage long term. That is the main customer challenge. So here, how we are going to address the solution. Before addressing the key solution, I just take a one real world example, which is how does Google manage the world's consumers data? Well, the main consumer data, how it will manage is, for example, our Google have a apps like Google Maps, Gmail, Google Docs, and also Google Chrome, and we have a YouTube and also and its associated services. All these services can be manageable is possible for all Google apps and also the services. But how they are managed to achieve this is they are managed to achieve due to the consolidation process. The main backend key architectural component is web scale file system. So using the web scale file system only, they can able to manage all the Google's consumers data. Okay, the similar kind of approach, Cohesity and HP jointly together and implemented a solution. This solution architecture also consists of one key file system component, which is called SpanFS. This SpanFS also similar to a Google web scale file system. This SpanFS also a distributed web scale file system. Using this distributed file system, we no need to maintain a siloed infrastructure in our secondary storage. We can combine all with a HPE and Cohesity architecture. Okay, let's talk about that infrastructure. We need the same solution for our enterprise data also. Enterprise data means our data centers and also our remote offices and also a public cloud, multi-cloud, hybrid cloud environments and so on. All this infrastructure also we should maintain a similar kind of Google solution. We need a distributed file system architectural solution. That solution is like how to simplify your data management with Cohesity and HPE. Now, see the simplified data management with HP and Cohesity, one platform, single user interface, and run the applications. As we know, latency sensitive production environment, we have virtual environment. This virtual workload hypervisor can be a VMware hypervisor ESXi vCenter, and it can be a Hyper-V Microsoft System Center Virtual Machine Manager, and so on. And we also have physical servers, databases, and NAS servers. But the same scenario, instead of using a multiple third-party silo infrastructure tools, we are managing a one combination of solution with HP and Cohesity. That is, see the core infrastructure consists of minimally 3 HPE nodes. On top of that, we can configure a Cohesity data platform software. So Cohesity software runs on HPE, and so that we can able to achieve the all our secondary storage complexity will be managed from a single platform and also the single user interface, and all applications will run smoothly. And it can be applicable for robo, that means our branch offices as well as the edge locations, and similarly for cloud environments. Nowadays most of the organizations is running with a multiple workloads like on premises, private cloud, public cloud. Some organizations are running with a mixed cloud environments. For all this infrastructure, this solution is more suitable for to maintain a as a one platform. So our achievement here is data management is redefined. When compared to our previous example and this solution example, the data management is redefined, and we have one platform, one user interface, and run our production workloads. What is the additional on a production environment is simplify end-to-end with HP and Cohesity from core to edge to cloud. So core means our on-premises infrastructure and also the edge location as well as the cloud locations. And even in the production environment for primary storages, we have a HPE solutions which includes Nimble, Primera, 3PAR and simplicity. And we can also use HPE Proliant servers as well in the production workloads. And similarly, when it comes to the secondary storage also, we can use the combination of Cohesity data platform on HPE servers. Okay, this is a high level overview of our joint solution. Now, what we can achieve with this mass data fragmentation with HPE and Cohesity. So let's start discussing about first option. The first main key benefit we can get with this solution is backup target storage, and that means it will be held same like our traditional backup. It is a modern backup target storage. It will help you to compress your data and as well as deduplication. And also the another thing is integrated backup and recovery. We can able to integrate all this infrastructure with our existing primary storage. It's simplifiedly integrate with our Cohesity data platform, and so that it will help you to enable a instant mass restore. Normally our traditional backups are able to restore the backups, but the restore time may take more than a 30 minutes like that. But when it comes to the Cohesity on HPE solution, even the restoration will be minutes only. So if the virtual machine sizes are minimal, it is less than 100 GB, it can be finished within the seconds as well. And not only one or two VMs, this Cohesity is writtenly proven in Cohesity labs. It's proved that 2000 virtual machines we can able to restore within a 47 minutes. That is called instant mass restore. And also another solution is intelligent file object storage. So, and we also have a file and object storages. This Cohesity and HPE is supported for multiple protocol, NFS, network file system, SMB, and also the common infrastructure file system, CFS, and also the S3 simple storage service protocol. It's supported. And in addition, it can also be supported for a hybrid cloud environment as well as multi-cloud data management. And we can also maintain instead of maintaining our tape management, all your archival data, we can keep it on a cloud environment. Only thing is we have to configure any of the destination target. In our later demo session, I will show you what is the available long-term retention targets. Okay, and integrated cybersecurity. By default, Cohesity data platform have a capability to provide a ransomware protection as well. And also it's supported for modern workload. It is nothing but a distributed database and also the containerization. And even if you have any Kubernetes workloads in our organization, customers nowadays, most of the customers already migrating their applications from monolithic to containerization applications. And also they are maintaining some enterprise Kubernetes environments like VMware Tanzu, Red Hat OpenShift, and also they are managing SUSE Rancher. This solution is supported for all the enterprise Kubernetes backup as well. Okay, and also the agile dev and test, and this is any of the test and development without disturbing your existing production workload. This solution will help you to do your test and development and also your upgrade test and update test without disturbing your production workload. And also the another thing is, last but not least, do more with your data. And also if your Cohesity data platform on HPE servers, if it is require any additional services, we have a marketplace integration, and you can directly download from the marketplace. There are some free appliances are available, and also the paid based appliances are available, which is flexible. We can use depends on the customer requirements. Okay, now, what is the new architecture for data management? When compared to the traditional architecture, there are some changes in our Cohesity data platform architecture. Let's observe what is the main changes in the new architectural. Suppose when we see the Cohesity architecture, as I mentioned, one key item is Cohesity data platform powered by span file system. This is the key component in our architecture. And also this is a one platform, all workloads and data. And also we have another key component called Cohesity Helios. This Cohesity Helios is nothing but a multi-cloud management. Suppose our organization have a multiple sites and we have a on-premises data center, we also have branch offices, and in addition we also have a public cloud workloads. In order to maintain all your infrastructure from a single console for one user interface, and also all your customer branch management, global management, we require a additional component that is called Cohesity Helios. Okay. And another thing is you can run applications and services, move compute to data, and also if you need any additional applications, we can simply download from a Cohesity marketplace. See, this structure is almost similar to a Google like search, and you can search the specific application and you can install using a Cohesity marketplace. And also the validated solution in this new architecture is the validated solution with HPE Nimble storage snapshot integration. And also we have a certified HPE products, which is HPE Apollo, and also the HPE Proliant servers are compatible with this solution. Okay. Now, the main core concepts of summary. When we plan to deploy a Cohesity data platform on our customer infrastructure, the initial requirement is we have to configure a cluster. On top of the cluster, we can make it a multiple partitions. Like one is a storage domain 1, another one is storage domain 2. In order to prepare a cluster, minimally we need a 3 nodes, 3 HPE servers. On top of 3 HPE servers, the minimum network speed starts from a 10 GB Ethernet speed, and we can use until the 100 GB Ethernet speed. And we also have a existing hyper-converged infrastructure concept is available, and we can also use a on existing server with storage boxes, and you can also use a external storage like a HPE Nimble. That is a minimum requirement to configure our data platform cluster, Cohesity cluster on HPE infrastructure. After that, we can configure storage domain, and we can create a view one. That one view is specifically for test and development, and another one for a data protect backup job for all your workloads. And another storage domain also you can prepare, that is for your cloud workloads, and you can create a view for that S3 backup high user, and also you can create for a SMB backup low. So, and the only difference from storage domain 1 and storage domain 2 is within your storage domain 1, you can maintain your all your production workload with inline deduplication, compression, and encryption. But when it comes to the storage domain 2, you can also exclude those options. Okay, so this is a way we can configure in our Cohesity cluster. Let's talk about some additional concepts in the Cohesity cluster. So this is a storage domain 1 we highlighted, and the partition we can make it into a domain 1 and domain 2, and the cluster also we noticed. And the main key components is cluster means minimally we can configure with 3 nodes or more than 3 nodes, and the node means that is nothing but a one computer node, and also the block is nothing but a, it is also call it as chassis. One example is HP Apollo R2200, and we can configure a partition, and also the storage domain we can configure. Under the view, we can verify all your compute policies as well as under protocol information. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. And data mobility. And Cohesity offers many features that get data efficiently and easily to the right place. And we can have a flexibility to prepare a clone. This cloning option is more suitable when we are planning to do any of the production database upgrades without disturbing your production workload. We can prepare a clone, and you can do all your test and development on a clone workloads. The clone option is available in a Cohesity, and also replication options are available, and NAS data migration also available, and cloud spin, and also the cloud archive and cloud retrieve. These are the key features offered by the Cohesity. Now, Cohesity features, as I mentioned, one key feature in the Cohesity is span file system. With this, we'll get the multiple benefits, that is unlimited scalability. We can able to not only 3 cluster nodes, we can increase unlimited nodes and on the fly without disturbing your existing Cohesity cluster. And strictly consistent. That means the configuration will be strictly consistent. There will be no changes. Okay, and multi-protocol is supported, and also the global duplication is supported, and also the span tree, limitless snaps, and also the clones. And we also have a facility within the Cohesity cluster is self-healing. In case of any issues happen, it will try to do the self-healing. And also the automated tiering, we can configure the automated tiering as well, and also the multi-cloud management it's supported. And we can also use a sequential and random IO filters, and we can also configure for multi-tenancy with the quality of service, and global indexing and search. This global indexing and search is similar to like a Google search. Okay, and now let's talk about the span-fs distributed file system. As I mentioned, we have all the key components like a distributed lock manager, distributed key value, cohesity, cluster management. These are all the major components within the span-fs, and also all the protocols, whatever we discussed now, that all the supported protocol information, and also the cloud level, and it can be run within a smart files NAS, and also the any of the storage target. It can be a external storage target or on-premises storage target, and we can protect all our workloads using the span-fs distributed file system, and the management interface is single. And in order to provide a global management, we have to use Helios. So within the Cohesity data platform, we can configure a data platform for the edge, cloud, and also configure for a virtual editions. And remember, it will support it for a fiber channel and iSCSI protocols are only communication with specific sources for the data protection. Okay, let's move on to the another point, reference architectures. So with this, our whatever we discussed until now with the HPE and Cohesity combination solution, there is some reference architectures. One main architecture is DCA, direct converged infrastructure, and this stack involves a HPE servers, including the hypervisor. It can be a Microsoft hypervisor, Hyper-V, or it can be a VMware ESXi, and also the Nutanix AHV Acropolis hypervisor. And along with, we can use HPE Nimble storage for the primary storage and as well as secondary storage, and we can use the HPE servers, and Cohesity can run on a HPE servers. This is the one default architecture. Okay, and the supported validated model for this is Apollo 22000, and this is a recommended model for the Cohesity data protect. And another reference architecture is HCI, direct HCI, which is like a hyper converged infrastructure. All our hypervisor converged within this logical architecture. Here we can use the protocol iSCSI, and the supported HPE models are HPE DL 380 servers and also the HPE Apollo 22000 model, and backup traffic can be used for your files as well as the object storage. And another architecture within this DHCA, there is a example bundle. Some scenarios, it's like a same as t-shirt sizing, small, medium, large, and X large. Depends on the customer requirement. We can choose the respective configurations. Like compute environment, we can choose DL380 generation 10 models. When it comes to the storage, we can use Nimble high flash arrays, and also the data production plus NAS object, we can go with a Apollo storage models. Okay. And now this Ethernet speed for the end-to-end network speed starts with 10 Gbps, and you can use until the 25 Gbps. This is the example bundle information, high level overview. Now, reference architecture for a containers. Nowadays, containerization is the booming technology, and even HPE have a specific HPE container platform, which is called Edgemiral. And previously, it's acquired the Blue Data organization and renamed it to the Edgemiral, formerly call it as Blue Data. And Edgemiral Data Fabric also, it will provide along integrated with the Velero, and it will also allow you to protect your data using the Cohesity data platform. Okay. Now, HPE solutions for Cohesity server platform. So for server platform, we have a mainly for virtual edition. That means Cohesity you can run as a virtual edition, and also you can run on a single node for Robo. Normally, single node is preferred for a remote office and branch offices. And for a small physical cluster, we'll go with a Proliant DL360 model. And for medium physical cluster environment, we should go with a DL380 based clusters. And for the large physical physical clusters, we should prefer the HPE Apollo 4 to 4200 and also the 4500 510 model. These are the preferred for a large physical cluster levels. Okay, and the main importance of large is it's easily achieve the petabyte scale and cohesity clusters. Okay, now, Cohesity platform portfolio. This platform portfolio, it's supported for a compute environment and also the edge and also the core, all flash and archive. As I mentioned, the most common supported one is Proliant models, DL360 and DL360 Gen 10, and also the core environment. We have an additional recommended model is Proliant DL380 generation 10, and also the similarly to the archive models. Okay. Now, is ransomware going away? Definitely the answer is no. Ransomware is keep coming. So the growing blast radius is keep growing when compared with the time and also the blast radius. In general, it's like when the ransomware is affected, it will encrypt the production data, and it will also the unable to access your data. All the file size will start increasing. File size is automatically growing, and when we try to access your website also not opening. That is the impact of when the ransomware is attacked. But in the it will also, if the impact is keep increasing, it will become like a destroy the backups, and also the backups also can unable to recover. Even if you recover, data is partially recovered only. And another layer of impact is steal the data. This is the most growing blast radius of ransomware. And how to counter the ransomware attacks with HPE and Cohesity. So the main key solution here is we have to configure a Cohesity alias, which is a self-managed, or we call it a software as a service platform. It will give you a simplicity at scale and zero trust security and artificial intelligence powered and third-party extensibility. It will help you to protect your ransomware and also reduce your ransomware attack severity. And also the backup and recovery options are available. File and object. This Cohesity alias is like a global management tool. Your customer organization have multiple location. All locations can be centrally managed using a Cohesity alias self-managed platform, and it will provide a use cases for disaster recovery, data security and governance, development and test, analytics and insight. Okay. And also the Cohesity providing a threat defense architecture, which will always protecting from a ransomware. This data resiliency is encrypted, fault tolerant, immutable. Immutable means it is nothing but a cannot edit your backup data. It's like a only the read only. We cannot edit or modify it, completely unchangeable data once it is backed up. And with this threat defense architecture, it can be a access control, read-only access control, and these all the features are multi-factor authentication, quorum, continuous monitoring options are available. In addition, we also have a detection and analytics and source-side anomaly detection and adaptive behavioral connection. It will help you. It will keep monitor your backup data, your secondary storage infrastructure. In case of any threat affected, immediately you will get a notification. Okay, and see, it will watch the data and users, keep the bad guys out and lock the data. That is nothing but a immutable backups. And minimizing the blast of radius of ransomware, the first scenario is we have to rapidly restore from a backup, and Cohesity is supporting for a mass restore, and recovery will be very faster compared to any of the other third-party backups. And also destroy backup scenario, how it will address is it will address the provide immutability and isolation. It will separate from our existing on-premises data. And also when the steal data, how it will address is it will converge data security and governance. So that what is our end goal is when we perform with the Cohesity solution, the end goal will be it will minimize the curve. That means the impact, ransomware impact will be completely reduced. Okay, and how to counter the ransomware attacks. Let's recap what we discussed now. See, ransomware also keep growing from 1.0 to 2.0 and 3.0. Suppose if it is in the 1.0 version, if the method of attack is encryption, during that scenario we can quickly identify the issue and we can recover the system. And suppose it's a 2.0, during that scenario also we can recover using a immutable backups and data isolation. Immutable backup means the backups cannot be editable, so that it's easy to restore. There will be no impact to your backup data with ransomware. And ransomware 3.0 also, there is a method of attack is encryption and exploitation. During this scenario also, early detection using cohesity and also continuous monitoring, it will help you to reduce the impact. Okay, this is the complete overview of how we are going to companies are countering the ransomware attack. And now Cohesity threat defense architecture key difference are best in class security features and instance mass restore. In short form, we call it as IMR, and interoperability with other vendors. Okay, and even if your environment have any existing backup software, Cohesity is still supportable to integrate with your existing backup software like Rubrik, Commvault, Veeam. If you have any existing software, that can be easily integrated with the Cohesity platform. And now HPE and Cohesity use cases demo. So HPE use cases, we have a 50 plus use cases when compared with the joint solutions of HPE and Cohesity. Let's start discussing one by one. Let's say normally all the solutions are, if you let's take a look on the high level overview. Normally every backup software have a common option is backup and restore. In case of any issues on your production workload, we can restore. This is a common use case, and the same way it's applicable for Cohesity. And within the Cohesity, there is an additional feature is Veeam backup target integration. That means even if you have any existing backup, we can able to integrate in a Cohesity data platform. And also the Azure Stack HCA, which is one of the private cloud platform hyper-converged infrastructure in a Azure. This can be integrated with Cohesity. And also partially full site failover. Even if you want to do any failovers, it can be possible. And also the SQL backup and restore, Active Directory backup, net backup target integration is possible. So all these options one by one, I will try to show you. Log into the demo server and I will show you the one by one. Let me log into the Cohesity. So when we log into the Cohesity server, this is the Cohesity dashboard. Within the dashboard, we can see the summary of the Cohesity health status. Currently, there is some of the workloads are not unused. So it is showing some 39 critical and 0 warning and 5 information. And we can also see the storage infrastructure. What is our complete storage used and what is available storage? 130 TB of storage is available total, and also the what is the reduction, and also the protection information, compliance information, and performance details. This can be found from a data protection, our Cohesity dashboard within the summary page. And then if you want to see the data protection dashboard also, when you select the data protection, you can see the data protection information, how any failed backup, warning backup, and also success backups, running one, all the information you can see from a our data protection dashboard. And this dashboard also completely a protection level, compliance information, and recovery information. Currently there is no recoveries are going on. And similarly, even if you want to see the topology, we can see the topology also. So topology can be we configured for local, and also the remote target cloud storage is Azure storage. And now select the file services. As we discussed the file service also, we have this file service, we have a top views of all your file services and shared by protocol view. Protocols also we are using currently 3 protocols. As I mentioned, there are 3 compatible protocols, which is SMB, S3, and also the NFS. And the distribution type information we can see from this dashboard. Okay, and similarly another use case is when you select the cloud dashboard, within this cloud dashboard you can find whatever the cloud you integrated, all the cloud integration information you will find this dashboard. Okay, and now another use case is MySQL. it's a MS SQL, Microsoft SQL. This Microsoft SQL also, whatever we configured, all the configured alerts information, as well as production run status, the complete high level dashboard, and also you can see the existing SQL. In our lab system, we configured one SQL system, and there is a upgrade also available. This notification is available from the dashboard. Okay, and another use case is continuous data protection. This continuous data protection is also one of the key use case in our Cohesity. The importance of continuous data protection is normally the snapshot when we create a virtual machine backup, we can create a daily basis, but when you configure a continuous data protection based on the virtual machine CDP policy, it will continuously take the backup for every 15 minutes or 30 minutes, depends on the customer requirement. The importance of continuous data protection is in case of virtual machine is suddenly down, we can restore. When we restore from a CDP policy, there will be a loss of data will be very minimal. But when we comes to the normal data protection, normal virtual machine restore, the last successful backup or last full backup, whenever it created, from that time to until the issue happen, there will be some data loss. But when you configure continuous data protection, the impact will be very minimal. So that's why customers, if any of the high critical workload, recommend to configure a continuous data protection policy. Okay. Now within the Cohesity homepage, currently I log in with one of the user account, and also you can see the notification page. We can configure any of the alerts and notifications you can see from the homepage itself. And also, as I mentioned, one of the key component in our Cohesity is Helios platform. If you want to configure the Helios, and click on manage connection, and you can configure your Cohesity Helios. The connect to Helios should be enable state, and the Helios is like a mainly to centrally management and operational analytics from multi-cluster portal. Suppose our customer is using a multi-location like edge, core, and cloud. To monitor all your 3 locations from a single console, we have to enable a Cohesity Helios. Okay, but currently in the lab environment, I'm using a Cohesity local cluster. If you want to see the local cluster status, you can see under the system. From the dashboard column, you can see, we scroll down to the system. Under system, you can see our actual system health status. We have a system chassis status healthy, disk, fan, all the complete hardware status is healthy state. Okay, and also if you want to see the storage information, we can see the storage information. Same like our dashboard, here also you can find, and even the storage domain information we can see here. See, it's configured with a S3 storage domain, and also S3 storage domain 2 and a default storage domain. 3 domains are configured. And who is the consumers? Currently we are using external, as I mentioned, there is a one integration capability. That integration, it is integrated with Rubrik platform as well. Okay, and the performance, same like our dashboard performance. Under system also you can see the performance of this current cluster configuration. See, the cluster name is point next Cohesity 001. Okay, and we have the performance information, and the storage domain we can see the storage domain, IOPS, input output per second, throughput, latency, all the information we can see, and also the nodes information we can see from the performance tab. See, the nodes is point next Cohesity. Okay, now comes to the another use case we can verify from the data protection. When we select the data protection, under data protection we have multiple options, and remember that one of the main use cases is adding our workloads. So if you want to add your workload, first go to the sources. Under sources section, we can able to register your sources. That register can be, you can register your virtual machine. This is the one use case. When we click on virtual machine, this virtual machine can be your VMware vCenter, and you can also register your standalone ESX host. Suppose if you have a one ESX on your remote office branch office, you can select the specific remote ESX. That is the one use case. And also the another option is VMware vCloud Director. If the customer is using a vCloud Director also we can register in our data protection level. And also not only these three workloads, VMware workloads, we can also have a other third-party virtualization compartments, which is Hyper-V. Hyper-V is Microsoft hypervisor software name. And we can also configure System Center Virtual Machine Manager. And this is similar to like a VMware vCenter. VMware product to manage multiple ESX, we are using vCenter. When it comes to Hyper-V, to manage multiple Hyper-V hosts, that management tool name is called SCVMM, System Center Virtual Machine Manager Server. This also we can configure using a protection virtual machine option. And another method is standalone Hyper-V you can configure. And if you have any failover cluster, that failover cluster also you can configure. And we also have a other integration configuration like Acropolis standalone cluster and Acropolis other hypervisor. Acropolis is nothing but this is a Nutanix hypervisor. Nutanix hypervisor name is AHV, Acropolis hypervisor. If you want to configure AHV cluster, you can choose this option and configure the Acropolis hypervisor cluster information. Okay, that means here Acropolis standalone cluster is nothing but we have to provide a Prism element IP address. Okay, and hypervisor means we have to provide here AHV IP address, username and password, and click on register, so that it will allow you to take the backup of your AHV hypervisor backups. And similarly, under data protection, we can also register for your cloud workloads. These cloud workloads can be GCP. GCP means it's a Google Cloud Platform, AWS, Amazon Web Services Platform, and also you can configure Azure. And in addition, we also have another use case is we can configure a Red Hat hypervisor. This one also we can register under our data protection. So suppose if I select the sources option, can we see any sources are configured in our existing demo system? See, currently there is Acropolis system is configured, Nutanix cluster 1, and also Nimble storage also configured. And we have a few physical servers are configured, and we also have a SQL server. This is also one of the use case. And we also configured a VMware vCenter servers also configured. Okay, suppose for example, if I click on any one vCenter server, that vCenter server, you can find there are unprotected objects are 81 objects. That means it's still not yet protected. If you want to protect all your virtual machine, just click on protect now. When you click on protect now, see the currently icon is showing us A. In general, if you want to protect your any of the workloads, we have to expand here this view, or you can change the view to VM listing view. When you click on VM listing view, if you want to configure a backup for any of the workload, for example, there is a CentOS. Select the CentOS VM and save the selection. Once we click on the save the selection, we have to create a protection group name. Let's say protection group name is IMR, Instant Mass Recovery. I'm just keeping the name as IMR name. And you can keep any of the protection group. Generally, we have to follow the customer naming conventions. Okay, just for testing purpose, I may make it as a IMR. And the policy, we have to choose the policies. It can be a default policies, bronze. We have a gold and silver. Just for testing purpose, I'm configuring the one policy which is bronze. Okay, and that is a policy. This policy clearly says that it's every day, and the retention is 1 month, and extended retention for 3 months. Okay, and now the storage domain, you have to change any of the storage domain you can choose, or you can use a default storage domain. Okay, once it is completed, you can just save this option. So this is how we can protect your workload. But actually, we configured the workload for a vCenter level virtual machine. Not only one VM, even you can configure similarly for multiple workloads as well. Okay, I mean, if you have a group of virtual machines, all the group of virtual machines you can configure here. Okay, suppose if I select a protection, you can see here, if the system is not protected, the icon color will be changed as red. The protected server, so for example, there is a one Windows physical server, currently it is in a protected state. Okay, if I select this one, when we click on select all the 6 protection groups. These are all the protection group names. For example, if I select a Windows physical server, you can see that Windows physical server, all the backups are running status. You can find SLA status and also the success information, what is the data, and the backup type is incremental. And Cohesity recommendation is always it will take a incremental backups. Okay, and it will help you to do a instant mass restore. Even if you have a 2000 virtual machine, 200 virtual machine, we can restore it very quickly. Concurrently, we can restore all the workloads. Okay, and if you want to recover all your workloads, you can go to the recovery option, click on recover, and you can choose your respective workloads. Okay, you can recover from your files and folders. You can recover the specific virtual machines. See, you can see the instant volume mount. This is like a clone, and you can restore your specific full virtual machine, or you can restore your specific virtual disk as well. This is also one of the use case. And when it comes to the databases, you can restore the databases like Amazon DB, Cassandra, migration, MS SQL only, and MongoDB, and also the Microsoft SQL, Oracle. These all the recovery options are available. And another capability is network attached storage and storage volume also we can restore. Suppose if you have any of your production data or your file servers, also we can restore using this option. And if you have another key use case is Microsoft Office 365, we can restore the mailboxes, we can restore OneDrive, and we can also restore the public folder and sites. And similarly for physical server, this physical server restore normally it's available in a traditional backup tool, but in the Cohesity the specialty is restoration is faster, and it will support for a multiple hypervisor and multiple database platforms. It will also support for a cloud platforms like SaaS environment, Microsoft Office 365, and also the application workloads also we can restore. One of the key applications are Active Directory and Exchange Server. Also we can restore using Cohesity, and we can also do the SAN level recover, and also the Cohesity view. This Cohesity view, it will help you to prepare your any of the SMB protocol and also the S3 protocol information. Okay, again go to the data protection recoveries, and you can click on recovery. We can see the additional capabilities are Kubernetes cluster. Even if you configure any of the Kubernetes cluster, that Kubernetes cluster data also we can recover using Cohesity platform. So until now we verified the main use cases are what are all the sources we can add it to the Cohesity. See, these are all the adding options: databases, NAS, Microsoft Office 365, physical server. This integration portion only I highlighted in our slide. Let me minimize and log into the slide. See, if you see the our slide also, I highlighted all these parts here. Like see, Nutanix integration. Nutanix is one of the hypervisor platform, and Commvault backup target integrate. Even the third-party backup we can integrate, and also the cloud spin migrate VM to the cloud and restore from object storage, and the backup and restore Oracle. If that means the database option is available, and also Cohesity Helios. As I mentioned, Cohesity Helios mainly for a multi-cluster management, and also a EMC network of backup target integration. This is also possible, and VMware integration. Just now we verified how to do a VMware integration, and rubric backup target integration. Third party is possible, and scale out Cohesity nodes. Even if your Cohesity, the default recommendation is 3 clusters. If you want to add a additional nodes without disturbing our cluster nodes, we can add a new nodes. So that is also one of the main use case. And Cohesity node failure, even if any of the Cohesity node is failure, there will be no impact to your workloads, because we have a 3 nodes. In case of one node is down, there will be no impact. Other 2 nodes will work function as usual. Okay, and restore from Oracle RMAN backup. That is just now we verified the restore option for Oracle, and the partial full site failover also possible, and VMware Tanzu Kubernetes integration. If you want to do a VMware Tanzu Kubernetes integration, just log into the our Cohesity server. Within the Cohesity server, when you go to the Kubernetes cluster, here, if you want to configure your Cohesity, if you want to configure VMware Tanzu, we have to provide a Tanzu IP address here. For example, to configure a Tanzu IP address, we have to provide the specific Tanzu namespace IP address here, and also we have to provide a bearer token. For example, let me show you how we can enter these details. These details are connect to our vCenter server and get our VMware Tanzu information. Let's say, let me connect to the vCenter server. Within the vCenter server, we can find our Tanzu Kubernetes workload information. I will show you how we can add the information for Tanzu workload. Normally for the physical machines and virtual machines, physical machines, it require a agent installation. And for a virtual machines, once we register the vCenter server, all your vCenter virtual machine doesn't require any agent. So without agent, we can install. But when it comes to the Kubernetes platform is not like a traditional environment. We have to provide some additional information. So let me log into vCenter. If you want to find out your Tanzu information from vSphere with Tanzu, log into the vCenter server, and from the vCenter, you can go to the workload management to find your clusters information. Let's say here we have a cluster is AZ3M01 hyphen cluster 01. This option, you can see the cluster information. And also, if you want to verify specific workload clusters, again, go to the workload management and you can choose any of the namespace. For example, I selecting one of the namespace 02, go to the configure tab and also the go to the compute tab. From the compute tab, you can see the Tanzu Kubernetes clusters. So under the Tanzu Kubernetes clusters tab, you can look for what is the IP address is configured. See, currently this Tanzu Kubernetes cluster is running with two Kubernetes clusters are running. One Kubernetes cluster IP is 10.27.14.3, another one is 14.7, and this is the IP address. So we have to enter the same IP address in our Cohesity level. While entering, we have to provide the name format is https://10.27.14.3 and colon, we have to enter a 6443 port. This is the recommendation. And bearer token. How we can get the bearer token is, again, log into the vCenter server and go to the menu. From the menu, we have to go to a developer center. Under developer center, go to the API Explorer tab. From the API Explorer tab, we can able to extract the bearer token. How we can extract bearer token is, you can just search for a namespace. So when we search for a namespace, and we can see a namespace management cluster information. Just expand the cluster information and you can click on get. When we click on get, you can see the run the try it out execute command. When we click on execute command, you can find your bearer token. The bearer token will be ends with a ID token. Just to copy this bearer token and log into the Cohesity cluster and enter your bearer token. Okay, and the Kubernetes distribution, which is the distribution? Our distribution, see, it's supported for mainline, Red Hat OpenShift, VMware Tanzu by default. So you can select here is VMware Tanzu. Okay, similarly for Red Hat OpenShift also. And the data mover image, it can be, you can mention any of the name. Let's say I'm keeping as a Tanzu. And if you have Valora image, that is optional. The remaining optional components, you can just leave it as blank. Now click on register. So this is how we can register the Kubernetes source in our Cohesity data protection level. I will show again. Go to the data protection sources. Under register, we can add a multiple sources. Just now we verified the Kubernetes cluster, which is Tanzu Kubernetes cluster. Tanzu Kubernetes cluster, the main key part is bearer token is needed, and also we needed for our namespace Tanzu Kubernetes cluster IP address. When you click on a specific any of the namespace, go to the compute tab, Tanzu Kubernetes cluster, and select any of the cluster, and you can see the IP address from control plane IP address, which is the Kubernetes actual Tanzu Kubernetes cluster IP address. Using this IP address only, we can able to take the backups. It's the same like how our vCenter server we are taking the backup is, we are using a vCenter fully qualified domain name or vCenter IP address. Using this IP address, we are taking a virtual center, all our ESXi host virtual machines backup. Similarly, for Tanzu Kubernetes cluster also, we have to enter the Kubernetes cluster IP. The only new difference in the modern workloads is we need a additional token, bearer token is needed. Okay, it's like we have a generally two types of authentication: basic authentication and advanced authentication. Basic authentication means we can give you a normal username and password like vCenter administrator at the rate vSphere.local. Similarly, for advanced authentication means it requires a bearer token. So using this token, we can able to join our Tanzu Kubernetes cluster workloads to our Cohesity data platform. Similarly, we can add a Red Hat OpenShift container platform as well. Okay, so now let's back to our slide. Okay, that is the point I highlighted here. So VMware Tanzu Kubernetes integration. And similarly, Windows physical server backup. As I mentioned, if you want to take the backup of your physical server, the only thing is we have to install our Cohesity agent must be installed. And Nimble snapshot integration also one of the use case. And online Cohesity cluster upgrade. As I mentioned, if minimally our Cohesity cluster have 3 nodes, so there will be no impact while doing the upgrade on one of the node. So we can do sequential manner. First one node is completed the upgrade, we'll go to the other node. Okay, and Cohesity node disk failure, even Cohesity node have any disk failure also, there will be no impact because we have a replication factor 2, replication factor 3 is configured. Because it's a hyper converged infrastructure, there will be no impact for one disk failure and 2 disk failures. Okay, and object storage, we can configure a cloud S3 simple storage service we can configure, and also continuous data protection we verified, and Red Hat OpenShift, same like VMware Tanzu, we can also integrate with Red Hat OpenShift. Okay, and full VM restore, it's like a normal restore only, same like traditional backup, but when it comes to the Cohesity platform, the restoration is faster. And cloud tier integration with Cloudian, even if you have any third-party Cloudian also we can integrate, and also the physical to cloud conversion also possible. That means you can take the backup of physical machine and you can restore it in your cloud location. Whatever the cloud we integrated, that integrated location we can restore. Okay, and this is also one of the most common use case these days. And SMB shares and NAS backup, network attached storage, and also the our main important is MS Office 365 backup and restore, and backup migration from other independent service vendors to Cohesity, that is also possible. And as I mentioned, one key use case in our Cohesity is instant mass recovery. Even when we are engaging the customer conversations, the most popular use case in the Cohesity is instant mass recovery. This is the main use case. And with the interest of our time, I'm unable to show you the mass recovery. Okay, but the procedure is same like how we recovering the one VM. Same way we can select the multiple VMs and initiate the recover. Okay, and the cloud archive we can use for AWS S3 similar to the Cloudian, and restore to the Azure, and also the NFS share self-service restore portal. Even our Cohesity is supported for automation. If you have any existing self-service portals like vRealize automation or vCloud Director, you can integrate your Cohesity using the REST API, and you can also provide a self-service restore from your existing automation tool. That can be, you can configure through a ServiceNow portal, you can use vCloud Director, or you can use a vRealize automation. Okay, and the SharePoint OneDrive backup restore, it's the same like normal VM, but we are creating a specific SharePoint and OneDrive file restore. And the last but not least, ransomware protection. As I mentioned, the ransomware protection, we can able to do it using a Cohesity Helios, using the global management, we can protect it. Okay, now let's move on to the next slide. HPE GreenLake for Cohesity. So HPE GreenLake, how providing a solutions for Cohesity is, it's an enterprise class data management in pay as you go pricing model, and Cohesity plus HPE GreenLake is like a cloud like experience on premises. Okay, and as I mentioned, the main supported GreenLake models are Brilliant Generation 10 and Apollo Generation 10 servers, and the data management software is supported for end-to-end support, and Nimble is supported for storage snapshot integration, and we can build on either a hybrid cloud and multi-cloud. Normally hybrid cloud means combination of private and public cloud, and multi-cloud means it's any hybrid cloud combination with additional cloud we consider as a multi-cloud. Okay, and consumption based billing also possible, and pay as you go consumption of complete solution built monthly, and HPE GreenLake service, one support contact and capacity management, and optionally operated for you, and also the HPE expertise, and worry-free data protection and disaster recovery, file object services, and agile dev and test archival, and also the analytics across the hybrid and multi-cloud environments. Okay, this is the high-level overview of HPE GreenLake with Cohesity. Now, redefine data management with HPE and Cohesity. As I mentioned, we'll get all the benefits. It's a mainly silicon root of trust from HPE, and also the disaster recovery it's supported, and disaster recovery can be automated using any of the automation tools like vCloud Director we can use, or vRealize automation. And also that we can do more with your data, and like if you need any additional applications also, we can export from a Cohesity marketplace. Suppose let me log into the server. When we log into the server within the marketplace, see, under data protection we also have a option for marketplace. When you click on marketplace, just click on marketplace, go to the summary. We can see all our Cohesity marketplace related applications here. All apps, when we select the all apps tab, it will redirect it to the Cohesity marketplace website. We have to register to the website. See, website is loading. And present configured apps you can see from a my apps. Currently no apps are downloaded yet, and marketplace is loading. See, under the marketplace, so you can find the multiple applications you can browse, and all the apps and integrations you can find from the marketplace. Few marketplace apps are free. See, normally if you see the COM AV, this is helpful for your antivirus scans for your file and data. Okay, and we know if you have any existing third-party antivirus software like Trend Micro or anything, that can also possible to integrate with Cohesity, or we can use a default marketplace COM AV. It will help you during the ransomware threat protection. Okay, proactively we can configure the COM AV to address the ransomware. Okay, now as a service consumption model enabled by the HPE GreenLake, and the key takeaway here is, as I mentioned, address the mass data fragmentation with an integrated solution, and lower TCO with elimination of infrastructure silos. Like secondary storage, we have a multiple silos, but all will be consolidated with one console Cohesity cluster on HPE platform. Okay, and one platform, single UI, run different workloads. So different workloads means, just now we verified with the workloads can be either it can be workload can be go to the sources. We can see here the workload can be hypervisor, Nimble, physical workload, and database workload, VMware workloads, and all. These all considered as a multiple workloads. Okay, and also the another thing is simplified management protection of core, cloud, and remote. See, we noticed we can configure on premises as well as the cloud, and also the remote offices, branch offices. And the scalability, we can also increase the, without disturbing the production, we can able to scale out. Okay, and also flexible purchase options with the HPE GreenLake, and also the data management as a service consumption model provided by HPE GreenLake. Okay, this is the key takeaway. So that's it for today. So, and this is a one-stop shop and single HPE purchase order. Okay, so thank you. Thanks for your time.